Very good day, ladies, gentlemen, and dear students. It is again my honor to speak at the DIAMUN conference. With the current COVID situation, we are all going through various transformations and have very quickly adapted to the new means of virtual communication with the outside world. Hopefully, in the near future, we'll get a chance to meet directly. I would like to thank Adventure Education Group and Dubai International Academy for giving me this opportunity to share my views on today's topics, namely responding to crisis in pursuit of international stability. As you know, since its founding in 1945, the UN has worked hard to meet its ambitious targets and to improve the world. From peacekeeping missions with the now famous Blue Helmets to its focus on improving the lives of children via UNICEF, to its vast aid program, the UN has become a key institution in the world and plays a crucial role when it comes to addressing world's challenges. International cooperation is essential to preserve peace and promote security, prosperity and justice throughout the world. Major issues like environmental protection, the war on drugs, gender equality, food security and curbing population growth cannot be resolved at local or regional level, but require a global approach. We can also see it clearly on the issue of climate change, which has been the catalyst for many demonstrations in the last few years, and where we have seen a real involvement from the youth from across the world. But for the short term, even more pressing is the issue that we see, namely the need for international cooperation to deal with the many challenges that the COVID-19 virus has created. International cooperation is not only extremely important when it comes to finding the right vaccines, but equally important when it comes to an even distribution of the vaccine on a global scale. It goes without saying that with a global pandemic like COVID-19, it is key that all people get access to the vaccine. In a situation where the world is essentially a global village, it does not make sense that only a selected number of countries, or within those countries only a selected number of people, do have access to the appropriate vaccine. In this context, I'm glad to mention that about the joint UN-led COVAX initiative, where 90 million doses of vaccines will be shipped to Africa within this month. The immunization rollout will be the continent's largest ever mass vaccination campaign. By the way, it's amazing to see that Dubai is also becoming a global vaccine hub, and that the company Emirates plays such an important role in the distribution of the vaccine. Dear participants, dear students, the UN has achieved a lot in its history. For instance, the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is an example of the positive role that the UN has showcased. The UN, and particularly the General Assembly, also serves as a platform to bring countries together, both bilaterally and also multilaterally. But there is also a downside to this story. The UN can play the role that is required, but only when it has the tools to do so, and also the political support of its members, especially the permanent members of the Security Council. Also here, the COVID crisis can serve as an example as to the limitations on what the UN can do. In that sense, the UN is very powerful and can be very powerful, especially if its members allow the UN to play that role. Are you aware of the fact that the Netherlands pursues an active foreign policy, which includes supporting international organizations through the provision of funding, manpower and ideas? This is known as multilateral cooperation. A strong argument in favor of multilateral aid is that this form of support is less driven by donor interests, and coordination is much smoother when donors individually administer their own programs. Over a quarter of the Dutch development budget goes to programs run by the United Nations, the European Union, the World Bank and various regional development banks. Therefore, it is important that the country is well represented at international organizations. That is why the Kingdom of the Netherlands, in addition to embassies and consulates, also has its own permanent missions, delegation and representations at organizations like NATO, the United Nations, the Council of Europe and the OECD. To quote, if I may ask, from a speech of our King Willem-Alexander when he addressed the UN General Assembly, we believe, the King says, in multilateral cooperation. The Kingdom of the Netherlands is convinced that close collaboration within a broad-based partnership of states offers the best guarantee of freedom, security and prosperity for all. He also says that the fight against poverty and inequality is best served by joining forces at the international level. Ladies and gentlemen, dear students, in addition to active participation in international organizations, the Netherlands also hosts different UN organizations, such as the International Court of Justice, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, the OPCW, and other international organizations like the International Criminal Court, the ICC, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, and also the Special Tribunal for Lebanon and Europol. The Netherlands attach great value to hosting the UN and other international organizations, and The Hague has established itself truly as a city of peace and justice. A big push from the UN has been on the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. These goals provide a clear roadmap to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all of us. What is interesting is that the Dutch participation at Expo 2020, starting this year, October, touches many of the SDGs. Through the team that we have chosen, uniting water, energy and food, we are able to tackle many different SDGs. For instance, clean water and sanitation, that's SDG 6. Affordable and clean energy, that's SDG 7. But also sustainable cities and communities, SDG 11. Responsible consumption and production, that is SDG 12. And indeed also climate action, a very important one, SDG 13. Unfortunately, as we all know, because of COVID-19, Dubai Expo had to be postponed. But I'm happy to underline that the Netherlands will not only be using the platform of Expo 2020 positively to work on the SDGs, but also to bring different parties together, be it government organizations, knowledge institutions and private sectors. Lastly, I would like to wish you all the best in the upcoming year as you participate in your MUN program and work together on the theme of responding to crisis in pursuit of international stability. I also sincerely hope that when it's all possible again, you do have the chance to participate in the DIAMUN in The Hague. I hope that after your visit to The Hague, you will come back as proud ambassadors of the Netherlands. And of course, we hope to see you in October at the Netherlands Expo Pavilion. Thank you a lot. I wish you all great Diamond Conference. I want you to be aware that you are the world's best change agents and that you can make this world a better, happier, and more safe place. Stay safe. Thank you very much and good luck with the conference.